Reading stories is a great way to improve your English skills while also being entertained. Here are a few short stories with easy vocabulary and grammar to get you started. The Lion and the Mouse. Once upon a time, a lion caught a mouse in his paws. The mouse begged for his life and promised to repay the favor. The lion laughed at the idea of a tiny mouse helping him. Later, the lion was caught in a hunter's trap. The mouse heard his cries for help and gnawed through the ropes to set him free. From that day on, the lion and the mouse became friends. The tortoise and the hare. In a race between a tortoise and a hare, the hare was overconfident and started taking a nap during the race. The tortoise plodded along and eventually won the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. The Three Little Pigs. 3 little pigs built houses out of straw, sticks, and bricks. A wolf came and blew down the straw and stick houses, but the brick house remained standing. The pigs learned that it is important to work hard and plan ahead to be safe. The Ugly Duckling. A duckling was born looking different than his siblings. The other animals made fun of him and he felt very sad. However, as he grew up, he turned into a beautiful swan. The moral of the story is that appearances can be deceiving, and it is important to be kind to everyone, regardless of how they look. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. A boy was bored while watching his sheep, so he cried out, "Wolf! Wolf!" to get attention. The villagers came running, only to find out that there was no wolf. The boy did this several times. One day, a real wolf appeared, and the boy cried out for help, but no one came to his aid. The moral of the story is that if you lie too much, no one will believe you even when you tell the truth. The Ant and the Grasshopper. A grasshopper spent the summer singing and playing, while an ant worked hard to store food for the winter. When winter came, the grasshopper was hungry and asked the ant for help. The ant refused, saying that the grasshopper should have worked harder during the summer. The moral of the story is that it is important to work hard and plan ahead for the future. The Gingerbread Man. A woman baked a gingerbread man, who came to life and ran away. He met various animals who tried to catch him, but he always said, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." In the end, he was eaten by a sly fox who tricked him. The moral of the story is that being too proud and boastful can lead to trouble. The Emperor's New Clothes. 2 weavers promised to make a special suit for the emperor that could only be seen by wise and worthy people. The emperor and his advisors pretended that they could see the suit, even though it wasn't there, because they didn't want to appear foolish. Finally, a little boy spoke up and said that the emperor was wearing no clothes. The moral of the story is that it is important to be honest and not be afraid to speak up, even if it goes against popular opinion or authority. The little red hen, a little red hen found some wheat and asked her friends, a cat, a dog, and a duck, to help her plant and harvest it. They all refused and said they would rather play instead. The hen did the work herself and made bread from the wheat. When she asked her friends to help her eat it, they all said yes. The hen refused and said that she would eat it herself. The moral of the story is that if you don't help with the work, you don't get to enjoy the rewards. The Pied Piper of Hamelin, a town, was overrun by rats, and a musician called the Pied Piper offered to help. He played his flute and the rats followed him out of the town and into the river, where they drowned. When the town refused to pay him for his services, he played his flute again and led the town's children away. The moral of the story is that you should always keep your promises and pay people what they deserve. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Goldilocks entered the home of three bears while they were away. She sat in their chairs, ate their porridge, and slept in their beds. When the bears returned, they were surprised to find someone had been in their house. Goldilocks quickly ran away. The moral of the story is that it is wrong to enter someone's home without permission. The Hare and the Tortoise. The hare was very fast and challenged the tortoise to a race. The hare was so confident that he took a nap during the race. Meanwhile, the tortoise continued slowly and steadily, eventually winning the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. The boy who cried wolf. A boy was bored while watching his sheep, so he cried out, "Wolf! Wolf!" to get attention. The villagers came running, only to find out that there was no wolf. The boy did this several times. One day, a real wolf appeared, and the boy cried out for help, but no one came to his aid. The moral of the story is that if you lie too much, no one will believe you even when you tell the truth. The Frog Prince. A princess lost her golden ball in a pond, and a frog offered to retrieve it for her in exchange. The frog asked to become her friend and eat from her plate and sleep on her pillow. After agreeing, the princess retrieved her ball, but didn't keep her promise to the frog. Later, the frog appeared at the castle, and the princess had to honor her promise. The frog then turned into a prince, revealing that he had been under a spell. The moral of the story is that it is important to keep your promises. Little Red Riding Hood. A little girl named Red Riding Hood was sent by her mother to her grandmother's house with a basket of goodies. On the way, she met a wolf who asked her where she was going. Red Riding Hood innocently told him, and the wolf ran ahead and ate the grandmother. When Red Riding Hood arrived, the wolf disguised himself as the grandmother and ate her too. The moral of the story is that it is important to be cautious and not talk to strangers. The Elephant's Child. An elephant's child had a long nose that he wanted to make shorter as all the other animals made fun of him. He went on a journey to find the crocodile who he believed could help him. During his journey, he learned valuable lessons from various animals, including how the elephant got its trunk. When he finally met the crocodile, he realized that his nose was perfect, just the way it was. The moral of the story is that being different is okay, and that we should embrace our unique qualities. The three billy goats gruff. 3 billy goats wanted to cross a bridge to eat the grass on the other side, but a mean troll lived underneath it. The smallest billy goat tricked the troll, and all 3 goats were able to cross safely. The moral of the story is that it's important to be clever and resourceful when dealing with bullies. The Emperor and the Nightingale. The Emperor of China heard about a beautiful nightingale that sang beautiful songs. So he ordered it to be brought to his palace. The nightingale agreed to come and sing for the emperor, but eventually became sad and flew away. A mechanical bird was made to replace the nightingale, but it didn't sing as beautifully. Eventually, the real nightingale returned and sang for the emperor again, showing him that true beauty cannot be replicated by machines. The moral of the story is that true beauty comes from within. The Princess and the Pea. A prince was searching for a true princess to marry. One rainy night, a young woman claiming to be a princess arrived at the castle, seeking shelter. The queen put a pea under 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds to test if the young woman was truly a princess. The next morning, the young woman complained of how uncomfortable she was, and the prince knew she was a true princess. The moral of the story is that true nobility comes from within and cannot be faked. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. 4 siblings, Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, discovered a magical wardrobe that transported them to a magical world called Narnia. In Narnia, they met the lion Aslan and the evil witch who ruled over the land. The siblings fought to defeat the witch and restore peace to Narnia. The moral of the story is that good will always triumph over evil. The little match girl. A poor girl is sent out into the cold to sell matches. She is too afraid to return home without having sold any, so she lights matches to keep warm, and in each one, she sees a beautiful vision. In the final match, she sees her grandmother, who has passed away, and is comforted in her arms. The next day, she is found frozen to death, but with a peaceful smile on her face. The moral of the story is that even in the darkest of times, there can be moments of hope and beauty. The ugly duckling. A duckling is born with feathers that are different from its siblings, and is ridiculed by the other animals. It runs away and meets other animals along the way, but still feels like an outsider. Eventually, it grows into a beautiful swan and realizes that it was always meant to be different. The moral of the story is that it's important to embrace your differences and not let others define you. The frog and the ox. A frog sees an ox and becomes envious of its size and strength. It puffs itself up, trying to be as big as the ox, but ends up popping. The moral of the story is that it's important to be content with who you are and not try to be someone you're not. The Three Wishes. A poor woodcutter is granted 3 wishes by a fairy. He uses his first wish to have a feast for his family, but his greedy wife wants more. For his second wish, he asks for a cow, but his wife wants a bigger house. Finally, for his third wish, he wishes for his wife to disappear. The moral of the story is to be careful what you wish for and to be content with what you have. The boy who wanted more cheese. A boy is given a piece of cheese, but wants more. He goes to the market and trades the cheese for a bigger piece of cheese, then trades that for an even bigger piece, and so on. His greed leads him to lose all the cheese and come home empty-handed. The moral of the story is to be grateful for what you have and not to be greedy. The lion's share. A lion, a fox, a jackal, and a wolf went hunting together. They caught a deer and agreed to divide it equally. However, the lion claimed the first share, and then the second and third, leaving nothing for the others. The moral of the story is that greed can cause problems, and that it's important to be fair and share with others. The fox and the grapes. A fox sees a bunch of grapes hanging from a tree and tries to reach them. When he can't, he decides that they are probably sour anyway and not worth eating. The moral of the story is that people often criticize what they cannot have. The lion and the mouse. A lion trapped a mouse under his paw and was about to eat him. The mouse begged for his life, promising to help the lion in the future. The lion laughed at the idea, but eventually let the mouse go. Later, the lion became trapped in a hunter's net, and the mouse was able to gnaw through the ropes and set him free. The moral of the story is that even the smallest creature can be helpful and that it's important to be kind to others. The rabbit and the turtle. A rabbit challenges a turtle to a race and is confident he will win. He runs ahead but becomes tired and takes a nap. The turtle keeps moving slowly but steadily and wins the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. The ant and the grasshopper. An ant works hard all summer, storing food for the winter, while a grasshopper sings and plays. When winter comes, the grasshopper is hungry and asks the ant for food. The ant refuses, saying that the grasshopper should have worked harder during the summer. The moral of the story is that it's important to work hard and plan ahead for the future. The shoemaker and the elves. A poor shoemaker is given help by magical elves who come to his shop at night and make beautiful shoes for him to sell. The shoemaker is grateful and leaves food out for the elves. When he and his wife see the elves, they make them clothes as a thank you gift. The elves are delighted and leave, never to return. The moral of the story is that kindness and gratitude can bring unexpected blessings. The gingerbread man. A woman bakes a gingerbread man who comes to life and runs away. He meets various animals who try to catch him, but he always says, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." In the end, he is eaten by a sly fox who tricks him. The moral of the story is that being too proud and boastful can lead to trouble. I hope you find these stories enjoyable and useful for improving your English.